Yo, what's up? It's your man D Lynch from Solid Scheme, and you're listening to the Producers Podcast with your man Kiggity Krazy Drayz from DasefX. You already know.
Hey, yo, what's good, y'all? It's your man Krazy to the Drayz Diggity DasefX. I'm back with another one. I mean, this one I've been waiting for. Y'all been waiting for. The world been waiting for. This one right here is special to me because I came in the game with this brother right here, with this producer. He's responsible for dasefx sound, if I could call it that. Hey, yo, please give it up for my man, my brother from another mother, Derek Lynch of Solid Scheme. Finally. Yo, what up, D? Clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap, clap. What up? Finally, we doing this.
Finally, D, you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Let's just start with people probably like, yo, that's what he looked like?
They ain't never seen you before.
See me.
They ain't never seen you.
I hope they're not disappointed.
You like the abominable snowman of hip hop, of producers. They're like, I know he exists, might have seen him, might not have seen him. Well, boom. Derek Lynch, one half of Solid Scheme, RIP, my brother Chris Charity. We wish he could be here. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into all of that. You understand? You understand? You underdig?
Rest in peace, Chris.
You already know. You already know. Mine too. So, yo, D, I'm going to just jump right into it. The world knows kind of dasefx story, but what they kind of, and some, have a variant of it, but what they don't know is, and a lot of people get it twisted, is they think Eric Sermon did our production. You know what I'm saying? So we got to clear that up off the head. Solid Scheme did the majority of dasefx. If you hear dasefx joint, this brother right here did it with Chris. All right, so that out the way, because a lot of people get that twisted. You know what I mean? Do your research, just read it. It's all on the credit, Solid Scheme, dasefx. You understand? So D, let me jump right into it. Get over it. Me and Scoob, we link. We meet at Virginia State in 89, 88, 89. Me and Scoob meet, right? We start rhyming on campus. We start winning talent shows. Then along the way, Scoob says to me, yo, I got my man in them from Brooklyn, because Scoob's from Brooklyn. You from Brooklyn. What part of Brooklyn you from?
Crown Heights.
Crown Heights. So Scoob says to me, yo, my man and them back home in Brooklyn. So first opportunity I got, we ran up to Brooklyn because we had already been recording, over beats that were already on. Other rappers, EPMD was rhyming to their instrumentals. So I come to Brooklyn, I meet you. Take it.
Okay. So I think Dre.
First time we meet.
When we first met, Scoob was going, listen, I'm rhyming with this dude down in V State. He's my partner. He can rhyme, right? So the first thing I thought was, Scoob was like the nicest MC I ever knew. Like straight up. Now like people in your hood could rhyme. Scoob could rhyme for real. And my brother could rhyme. Tone could rhyme. So when he told me, yo, he from Jersey, this, that, and the other, he's nice. I was like, he cannot be nice. So Dre, when I met you, I was sitting there going like, yeah, he cool, whatever, we can hang with him, but I don't think he can rhyme. So I don't remember the specifics, but I think somehow it must have been at my crib, because I'll give people a backstory. My pops was a DJ, and I was always the house that had the DJ setup. We had 2 turntables, a mixer, and my pops was a West Indian DJ, and we had mad records in the crib. So my crib always the crib for like, oh, go to D crib for music or whatever, right? That's the whole story. So that's the backstory. So somehow maybe you was at my crib. It was probably 89, and maybe we put something on, and you spit for me. And I couldn't believe it. I said, yo, he's just as good as Scoob. So that for me, that was 3 people that I knew that I felt that could rhyme. Because for me, I had high expectations for hip hop.
Right.
You always think like people in your hood could rhyme, but they really can't. That's your man. Oh, he rhymed, whatever, but he not. But you was not. So that was the first thing, and I couldn't believe it. And even then, Das, I felt, was still at the early stages, and it was still primitive. It wasn't Das that we know yet. It was still building, but y'all was nice and y'all had skills. So that was how we met.
Okay, so me and you link. I rhyme for you. I'm in the clique. You like, all right. So we started doing beats. Y'all started doing beats for us, right? Because we still, by this time, so we started going back and forth to Virginia State, you know, doing the regular school stuff, no?
Yes, hold on. Dre, you want to take it from early DOS or?
Yes, when we linked, the first thing we started doing after we linked.
Here we go. I think what it was y'all was coming up on them breaks,
right,
in school, and
right.
we were dabbling with like looping up. This was the era. And you reminded me the other day, funky sensation, like looping up funky, and it wasn't even looping it up. Might have been putting it on as a break, and then just rhyming to the break and seeing what we could get out of it. It was that era of like that kind of stuff where you rhyming on funky sensation. Okay. And I think I was doing early tracks like that. They were done in my crib. They were done wherever we could do it. And they were, it was all right, right?
Yeah.
It was early.
They stunk.
So, I don't want to say they stunk. I think y'all was, I think always people knew DOS could rhyme, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't what we know now. So anyway, we had a couple of joints, and I don't know if you want to go here with it. We was trying to take a couple of these songs around to other people in New York, and like, it was 89, right? By 89.
Yeah.
And we were playing it. I could give you one person that we played it for was, don't remember the name, but it was Gangstar's manager.
Tell it.
And we went and we met with him on the Lower East Side. And, you know, it was like one of those things. I think Blitz, your road manager, I'm going to say it, Blitz probably had his tours back then. And all, you know, rolled out like, oh, we're going to go play these joints for Gangstar's manager. It's a big moment, right? And so we met him on the Lower East Side. I never forget what the place looked like. It was run down. Like they had just got this like office space. They probably was going to hook it up, but it was a raw space. It's not the Lower East Side now with like, that's all bougie now. This is,
I remember that.
Yes, in the, like, you know, 89, ain't nobody was down there trying to have an office. Anyway, we went there, and the place hadn't been renovated. So we like they had a little setup, and we put the cassette in and played it. And I remember Gangstar's manager was like, yo, it sounds like you guys recorded this in the bathroom. So that was not a good, I remember that. We had hurt feelings, yo.
Right.
We sitting there with our feelings was hurt, Dre.
Right.
That's how I remember that. That's like an early introduction trying to get into the music business.
So I remember that. And we were giving our demos out because for us, that was our way of, we wanted to get into the industry by just giving our demo to somebody. We did not want to do a talent show, which ironically is how we got on EPMD. What I remember is we're doing those demos. And then I remember telling Scoob, like, yo, these ain't coming out right. These ain't coming out right. And then we took a break. And then we did Clap Your Hands over the Christmas break.
So let's take it to when we did Clap. Because that's how y'all got discovered off of Clap Your Hands. So the short version of Clap Your Hands was, may he rest in peace, Storm and Norman. Norm, he used to work at Uptown. He actually worked in the mailroom at Uptown Records. And, you know, he was our boy. He was from Crown Heights. Norm said, yo, listen, I know y'all dabbling, y'all doing music, DOS sound pretty good or whatever. I got this producer named Dex. He over there in Crown Heights, up the block from us. We didn't know him. He said, listen, I could link you up with Dex. He got 2 turntables. He had an SP1200. We had no SP1200. So we were like, yo, he got a real studio, he had an SP1200. So it was a winter day. It was me, you, Scoob, my brother Tone, Norm, and I'm gonna leave it. Probably that was probably about it, right?
And Chris didn't even come. Chris wasn't even there.
Chris wasn't even in the picture yet, right? So we walk up the block. It was snowing, like back when it used to be real snow. Okay, so we go to Dex's crib, right? And Dex is cool. He live up the block of Crown Heights. It's literally his bedroom. It's his mom's crib. He got the whole set up in his bedroom. He got 2 1200s. He got an SP1200. We like, damn, Dex is chilling, right? So now Dex is playing y'all beats. Like he's not even like playing beats that he had. He's just auditioning records. Like he's pulling out the break beats. This is the first time I really seen break beat records, the ultimate break beats. And I was like, oh, he just got break beats on these records, right? Because I wasn't really producing like that yet. Anyway, so he starts auditioning all these type like, what about this shit right here, whatever, this or that, right? And people don't really know Das like I know Dre in school. Yo, this is tough critics right here. This is a tough audience. You're not going to impress these two with anything. So I felt bad for Dex. Dex is auditioning, and Dre, you in school, but like this. Now, y'all not hearing what y'all like, because that's who y'all are. Y'all like, no, straight up. So to go to the chase, he puts on Blind Alley. People don't know Blind Alley. That's what Big Daddy Kane used. LL used it. Not singing, right? So he puts on Alley, and we like, oh, the Kane joint. We like, oh, okay. And then he starts looping it up on the SP12. And then he starts messing with Milk. And then, and then Milk and Giz, Milk D, Crown Heights, right? So he, and he starts mixing that together with the Blind Alley. And y'all, that's when y'all was like, hold on, there's something here. We all start rocking, right? And then he's putting in hold on, the other sample, Long Red. Right? He's putting in Long Red. I didn't even know it was called Long Red back then. I know it's Long Red now. Yeah. Whistling from Long Red. And I was like, oh. So we going, and then that was it. Y'all grabbed a pen. Yeah. And y'all just started writing while he was doing that right there. Well, I was like, they writing it right here. They started writing. Yo, Dex turned on the really no booth. It was like literally like go in a corner. Literally like in a corner. And then that's when you was like, holy frioli, macaroni and cheese before I start. I got to fart. No, I got to sneeze now. And we was like, yo, this is something. And first of all, let me go. When I heard that, if you think that, dasefx was critics, we are the worst critics in the world. So we not impressed by nothing. That impressed us. I was break a rhyme. And then Scoob came on. Bon voyage. Look out below, cause I got some. And we were like, oh my God. Y'all did the song, I'm gonna say, I'm not even joking, like the rhyming, by the time he edited it, Dex had a reel-to-reel. Who got a reel-to-reel in their crib? Dex had an 8-track or a 4, I don't know what he had a reel. Recorded one session, whatever, maybe 4 hours. Done. Clap your hands.
Shout out to Dex. We're gonna look, because we've been trying to find Dex. We all went our separate ways, but we gotta find Dex. And shout out to Dex. I'm gonna get you on the show, man. Real talk. Go ahead, D. So clap your hands. We do clap your hands.
So so clap your hands, done. We bring it back around the way to get the official critique. Because news that we knew, they not gonna say you dope. You gonna play them something, and straight up, if it's not good, Cass is gonna be like, hey, yo, you want something from the store? Yo, niggas gonna be like, listen, yo, I'm about to go get Dipsy Doodles and Dunkin' Sticks, and then you just gonna be playing your beat, and you're gonna know it's not dope. They're not gonna tell you just because you made it. Yeah. So we were like, here we go. We played it out of the car. So back in the day, you living with your mom, you can't be playing in the crib. So you played in somebody's car. Dudes lost their mind. I never forget. They gathered around. I'm gonna say it was Blitz's Taurus. Blitz had a Taurus. Yeah. Blitz's road manager, dasefx, had a Taurus, and we played it out of that car, and everybody gathered around, and they got the official stamp. They was like, it's crazy. It was official. We were like, yo, Drayz Scoop nice. That was it. It was the one song. And that's the story with Clap Your Hands. Then you can take it from there.
Then we took it. It was over the break. Then we took it. We took it right back to school. Okay. Shortly after that, we hear EPMD is going to be coming to Richmond. We go to the club. We perform Clap Your Hands. All I remember is they lost their minds. Okay. Boom. We meet up with EMP backstage. Yep. Yo, I remember this. If you could give us 10 more songs like Clap Your Hands, we could get you a record deal. Yeah. Boom. So that's when we fast forward now. That's when Scoob, because I didn't have your number like that. Scoob called you. Yep. And then he must have been like, yo, D, this happened, that happened. And then boom. That's when y'all must have been like, yo, this is going down.
Yeah, Scoob called me, and I never forget, because there was always something. we was dabbling with other people before in the past. The school was like, yo, this dude want to mess with us. You know, he run with them, he run with this. And I always be like, we used to get hyped and then nothing. And then when he told me, he said, yo, we went to a talent show, EPMD met us backstage. You know, it was a local talent show, but they let us, they let the other dudes win, and they gave us, you know, an opportunity to bring them songs. And I was on the phone like, nah, EPMD not calling. I said, they're not calling. I said, it's EPMD. EPMD was huge, huge. You don't even understand how big EPMD was at the time. You're like, yeah, y'all met EPMD. They said they give me a record deal. Their beats was crazy. Their music was wild. It was the whole thing. I had all their albums. I had the cassette. I was listening to a Walkman. I'm looking at the picture of them sitting on IROC Z or whatever by the water. It says dead end. They got fish. No, they're not calling us, yo. They're not calling us. I was like, you Scoob, they're not calling us. They're not. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, Scoob.
Right.
Then, hold on. I think after that, right, they said give us 5 songs.
Yep.
And here's what it was. Dre, let me maybe I'm doing this wrong. When did we be at the bowling alley? That's
right.
Next.
So next, because what happened is we start doing songs. After the deck situation, you got serious. You was like, yo, I'm gonna bogart this. I'm not gonna let, because after it was the deck song that we gave to Parrish and them. So we started doing demos and more demos. Then this is what happened. P wasn't liking some of the songs like that until then we might have did like Just a Man, because in between that is They Want Effects,
right,
which is another story, but
right,
with some other producers from Virginia State. But we must have started doing songs that caught his ear that he was really liking, and that's when we started meeting him at the bowling alley.
See, I think I remembered it like this. I think for me, when it was official, was P rolled up. We had a meeting with him at the bowling alley. I don't think we get. I think maybe we was gonna give him songs. That might have been. Anyway, it was magical for me, yo. P, we met him out in Long Island at a bowling alley, and he pulled up in a 560 SEL burgundy Benz, and we were like, that's him. And he was with Tom J. He had on a Hit Squad jacket or EPMD jacket. He was 6'5". We couldn't believe it. And that's when I said school was for real. For me to see EPMD like that in the flesh was magic for me. That's what I knew was real. And I think at that moment was when he said, yo, bring me 5 songs. That was my memory.
And for those who know me, like D, you know me, my memory is out of here. You know what I'm saying? So this journey of ours, a lot of guys be telling me, Dre, you don't remember. D's one of them. D got the greatest memory about all of us. So for people that are like, Dre don't even remember his own story. No, he don't. That's what Dre do. He can't remember yesterday. So yeah, D. So yes, we linked up with Parrish and them, and that for you was the moment where shit started getting serious. And then musically, that's when you started getting serious.
Yes. So then P said, bring back 5 songs. So that's when I feel that's when Day One Effects happened. So I'll just give you a short version. We, at the time, Chris Charity and I did not have a sampler. We basically had a bunch of records and ideas and loops and ideas, right? So I'm gonna let you. So then, what happened was, with the process of making the 5 songs, your pop said he was gonna finance it, right? And so he was gonna spend about $1,500 on studio time, and we made a deal with Firehouse Studios to get a couple of songs done with this amount of money to get these 5 songs. So that's how that happened. Now, at the time, Dre, Solid Scheme was like, yeah, y'all could bring us some beats, but you also had Marcus and Kev, bringing you beats, producers on dasefx. And I'm not sure if there was anybody else. I remember because you went to the state with one of them.
Yeah, with Marcus, and I think his man might have went there too. But yes, and that's how They Want Effects.
Right.
Go ahead.
So again, so to just say, so then, so they were in the works. So it was very competitive, right? We felt that like, oh, these dudes coming with tracks, and then we had to come with tracks. Me and Chris are very competitive, right? So they came, so they out the gate, they came with the idea for Day One Effects, right? And they went up in Firehouse, and I know that you and Scoob helped produce, did it with them, right? Like saying, oh, put this in, take that out, loop it up. You know what I'm saying? My memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, they had they were at Virginia State. The word got around after we met EPMD. They were presenting tracks to us because everybody knew now, oh, you guys got discovered, you're looking for beats. So they gave us the loop. And in terms of what you just said, I added the drum roll in the beginning, not physically, but there was a part of the record because I was writing to the loop. And that drum roll in the beginning is why I wrote bum stickity bum, because it was right over that drum roll. So right. So that boom, and that's a whole nother story with the Day One Effects with Marcus, and I think it's Kevin Birdsong. Shout out to them. Gotta have you on the show, fellas, because that's a whole nother thing where politics got in a lot of people don't know. Tell them the quick story, D, about Day One Effects. We lost the reel.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it. So Day One Effects ends up being one of the 5 songs, right? So I'll tell you how Day One Effects came to being. So anyway, we played Eric and Parrish, Day One Effects, they lost their minds, right? 5 songs. So they was like, cool, right? They felt that now they had Day One Effects and they had Clap Your Hands and a couple of other joints they could start shopping the demo around in different places, right? Now, Day One Effects ended up being, I felt that when Solid Scheme ended up taking over the main production of the album, like being responsible for all the songs. It was 11 songs, 10 made it. But Solid Scheme did 9 of the 11 songs. And we ended up like taking over the whole, we was just gonna be the main people overseeing the management of the album. So Day One Effects, even though wasn't produced by Solid Scheme, we were, you and Scoob was like, yo, Day One Effects is half done. We're gonna have to finish it. But it was always on the back burner. It was a good song. It was never finished. Other songs were getting finished. Mike Checker, Lucy's, Just Cement. All these songs were getting worked on. Day One Effect was always in a rough mix. It was a 4-hour session. We only had 4 hours to do the song, and it was a rough mix, rough drops, everything. A rough session on a cassette. That's all we had. So cut to we get into the ending of Dead Serious, and we're like, yo, we gotta do Day One Effects. So we called up Yoram. We're like, yeah, pull up that reel. Yoram Bazan is the owner of Firehouse Studios
in Brooklyn,
and he's also an engineer. And so Yoram goes, go get the reel. We coming in. He's like, I don't have the reel for Day One Effects. We're like, we don't have a reel for Day One Effects. He's like, I don't have that reel to reel. You guys took it. So we going back and forth. Who got the reel? So we're like, yo, no one has the reel for Day One Effects. Couldn't believe it. So it was definitely on the back burner. We had to get back, right? So I'm gonna tell you what happened. We got to the end of the album, still no reel. So I had the best copy of Day One. I had a metal tape. People don't know what metal tapes are, but they were expensive. It was a Denon metal tape. It was high quality. I put that Day One Effects on my tape. I had the best quality. So it turned out that Day One Effects, that everybody went platinum, the one that you're hearing now, the one that makes people go crazy, ended up being mixed and mastered off a cassette with the regular 4 hours, the drops of like, yo, we got them drops that you're hearing, everything, all of that is that one session on my cassette ended up record that you hear now. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you know, crazy. After that, after Day One Effects came out and it blew up,
what?
Yoram called me, say y'all found the reel.
Oh no, word?
Yep, Yoram called me, hold on.
Whoa, Yoram found the reel.
Here you go.
Yo, that's the original reel right there, Dead Serious, all the songs on it. East Coast, Dum Dum, Mike Checker, Just Cement, D still got the reel.
Got the reel. Anyway, so you know what though? I'm gonna keep it real. See, God works in mysterious ways. Yeah. Because I'm gonna let you know something about Solid Scheme. Yo, when we make a beat, the beat is gonna get made and it's gonna get remixed and it's gonna get reproduced. It's gonna get messed with 100 times. Yes. Yo, we're gonna mess with Day One Effects. We have big plans to mess with Day One Effects. We were like fatten up the drums. We was gonna do all of this to Day One Effects. but couldn't do it because we had no reel. So maybe God was like, leave it alone and let it be like that because it's a masterpiece.
Let me segue into the other songs then, because from my memory, I know we messed with, like you said, the songs a million times, because by now, like you said, you guys take over the majority of the production. For instance, Just Some Men. Just Some Men had about 30 hooks before we settled on Just Some Men. All I remember is hallelujah, kids hear this. No? Yes?
Yeah, Just Some Men. But here's the thing with you in school, y'all was always good with y'all was very good with hooks. So you always said, yo, we're gonna use, even with Day One Effects, you're like, yeah, we're gonna do KRS One. They want to, people don't know that's a KRS One sample. They want to, right? And y'all always had all the hooks laid out.
Yes.
And then you always, so that was nice about y'all. Y'all would be like, it would be like, make a beat, insert hook here.
Yes.
So Just Some Men, I think y'all had that hook ready to go to Slick Rick. And so did you want me to tell you the story of Just Some Men, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Just Some Men was a whole other messy beat.
Yes.
It was probably a mess.
It was a loud mess.
Yeah, it was probably a mess. So we was in the studio at Firehouse, and we were under the gun because it was you paying for a session. So usually we produce it, go to studio to cut out and spend the money. Songs like 50-60% ready, so we could just get busy. No, Just Some Men was a mess, and we was paying for studio time. So I remember Chris was like, he was like, yo, we got to scrap this whole thing. So short version, we scrapped what we had. And again, here comes Blind Alley, Blind Alley beat. If people don't know, Blind Alley is like underneath Just Some Men. That's what's giving it the push. But it's like filtered and it's hidden. But Blind Alley is in there. And then I remember Chris had it rocking. And I was going through records because that's what I did. I was the dude to be like, D, find some other piece because I got it started. And I found the horns. I don't know where that sample from. To this day, I don't know where that sample from. Found the horns immediately. That went in the song. And then it was Just Some Men in the song. And we made it in about, I'm not lying, from the time we scrapped it to the time it became Just Some Men that you probably hear, it was probably about 45 minutes.
Because what I remember is Just Some Men was one of the many songs we had, but we liked it and it was a mess. It was musically a mess. And what I liked about Just Some Men is when we came back into the studio, because y'all would never have us around. It was always a surprise, a treat. Y'all wouldn't want us there doing some of the production being made. I remember coming in and Just Some Men, just from being noisy, was simple. And it was rocking and the lyrics were standing out. And that's what I was like, yeah, this is the version we need.
I left one important thing out on Just Some Men. So that guitar part is played by engineer Bobby Citran, Rob. May he rest in peace. Rob was an engineer, but he was also his own musician. And we never really paid attention to Rob's music or anything because we were just focused on what we was doing, but he was a musician. And so we, every now and then when we couldn't find no more samples, we used to go, yo, Rob, pull out the guitar. And he pulled out the guitar and we would pull up the reel, press record on a reel to reel. We would play a beat and he would just play guitar. So when he would play guitar, he would play a bunch of stuff and then we would sample the things that he did. So the was something he played, and we were like, yeah, that's it, that's a piece. Well, the jabba, he played that. Because we couldn't find no samples. We was going through records, couldn't find nothing, no guitar part, go.
D, let me just ask you the relationship as we're going through the songs. We started with Just Some Men, but let me just ask you, what was your relationship like with Chris at Solid Scheme, two producers? Talk to me about, because we always know what Chris brought to the table and what you brought to the table. Tell the people how you guys worked as producers.
Oh, okay. Chris Charity, rest in peace. That's my dude, my best friend. That's my brother. I would say this in terms of how we work together. Chris is a beast. in the studio. He's the dude where, you know, I felt that I had a lot of raw skill, like raw hip hop skill and talent. And Chris had a lot of raw too, but he had the organizational skills and the arranging skills, and he had a good ear for like putting things together. So I would have all the raw and the nasty, and then he would take it and then he would be polished. So if you hear Dead Serious, you could hear that it's rugged, but at the same time it's so polished. So that's why we complemented each other in that way. So you know, and Chris would never let a beat. Every beat that we did, it had to get exhausted through hours of work. So it would never be like, oh, okay, this one is done. No, it wasn't done, because right around the corner, there was another sample that could go into it. There was another horn. There was a better horn. There was a bass line. There was something. So I'd be sitting there like, yo, Chris, this is it right here. No, nope. He'd be like, no, another 3 hours. Yo, go through records. Find it. Find it. But he would just, which is good, because every now and then you'd be like, I was going to stop. But then you find something else that makes it magic. So those songs were done on very little sleep. I mean, there was times we went 20 hours working on music, and Chris, I was the dude that always wanted to go to sleep. I used to be like, yo, Chris, I can't do this no more. I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. Chris would look at me. He used to smoke cigarettes. He used to be like, listen, you could go to bed, but I'm gonna be up making beats.
Right.
And I was mad competitive, so I was like, nah, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. So that's how he pushed me. I was like, because I would go to sleep and he'd wake up with a masterpiece, and he used to be like this. He used to be like, that's what happens when you go to bed. He used to be like, yo, dudes is out. I'm not sleeping. I be tight because I slept and wasn't part of it. So I was like, nope, I'm part of this. I'm gonna stay up. So that's how we push. So and we used to work on songs real quick. On songs, we would work on songs 24 hours. There were times where he had to finally go to sleep. So I would go over the song. I would start a song. He'd take it over. He'd go to sleep. And it would be non-stop around the clock of never stopping to the song was complete, to our satisfaction. So that's how our relationship was, and that's how we worked in the studio.
What I remember is our working, we worked together like this. We could not come into the studio, listen to the song until we went to the Chinese store, got some chicken wings and fries and a 40 and smoked the L. And then Chris would let us hear the songs, right? The song, 1, 2. Before we even went into the studio, Chris would have us come in with the rhymes and sit in front of you and Chris and say the rhymes. Remember that? He used to have us say the rhymes because y'all might want to do a zigga, 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 zigga right here, do something. Yes. Also, what I remember with you guys' working relationship was you, like you said, you would, if the record had crackles in it, D wanted it in there. D would put the, if only, that's all Derek. Chris loved the cleanliness, if that's a word. He liked Derek beatbox, Chris orchestra. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me as we just segue about one of the songs that we always laugh about, which is If Only.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Where do I start with? If Only. Which part of If Only?
I wanted the people to know how you guys were working on If Only. And Chris, because he smoked, burnt the whole thing.
Oh, here we go.
All right, talk to me.
So If Only was up and going. It was just drums. I mean, people don't know. I'm gonna reveal stuff. It's got a little Bonita Applebaum drums in there. It's very hidden, right? That's rocking in. And then it had a loop that I found from a Jimmy Russian record. Jimmy Russian was a famous jazz musician. It's the blink, blink, blink. Like literally, it's just, that's all it is. Like it goes blink, 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 and the song goes all over the place. And I heard the blink, blink, and I put that in there. So it worked, right? So we had that shit going, and then Chris came and he played the bass line, and then we used to bring just the drums, a bass line, the piano to the studio, the Charlie studio, and Drayz, and y'all would rhyme on it, right? So that was the song, right? So then If Only was still in its raw stages, and it wasn't even fully produced, but we needed to redo the song real quick, right? We needed to redo the song.
Yeah.
So we needed to take the sample again from the Jimmy Russian record, right? To redo it. Like we want to reloop it, make it better, because that's what we did. It was never good enough. Had to reloop it, redo it, make it fly.
Yeah.
Yo, Chris Charity, he was a smoker. Yeah, burnt a hole in the record. He dropped the ashes on the part that went blink, blink, blink. The rest of the album, the B-side was good. The other parts, everything else that was happening, only the blink, blink, that's where it was burned. We put it was skipping, it was burnt. There's no go on Spotify and get it. There's no download it from the internet. It's, you got Jimmy Russian, you got to go find that record.
And you told me you got it from just like a sleeve somewhere in the mail. Remember you told me you was like, that record was just, wasn't even part of your collection.
No, I'm going to tell you that. That's the If Only It Sounded Like This sample. The If Only It Sounded Like This. That's hold on. So then, anyway, so we have to figure out how to get this record again. So we called up Sophia Chang, Jive. She worked at Jive Records, A&R. Only person I knew who could do the research to find Jimmy Russian, Look How Pretty, I think that was the name of the song. She hunted it down, called every record store in the city, and was like, yo, we went to a record store in the Ville, in Greenwich Village, and they had it. And so that song survived because we got the record and was able to resample that part. But yeah, these are the things that happen with music.
And a lot of people don't know, we did a lot of songs at the time that we could have easily just been like, it got burned, we're not going to use it. Because out of the 10, 11 songs we did, we must have done maybe 20, you know what I'm saying? Because we were just doing songs, like you said, some didn't make it, some weren't good enough. So we could have easily just threw If Only into that pile, you know. D, I want to talk about another song, which is obviously Mike Checker. Okay, so by the time we're doing Mike Checker, we move out of Firehouse because of scheduling, and we tell P, and then we tell him we gotta rearrange. That's when he brings us to the infamous, world famous Charlie Murata. Go.
Okay, so we can't use Firehouse right now. Firehouse is busy. They're fronting on us with the scheduling, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, y'all can use our studio, right? And I'm sitting here like, wow, we about to use EPMD studio. I seen Strictly Business album cover with that studio, the picture in the background. I was like, yo, we going to that right now. I was like, we about to go to the big time. Not to say Firehouse was not a big time studio. Firehouse was a smaller studio. It was like a home studio, right? It was intimate. It wasn't like the big old, it wasn't like Battery Studios or the major studios that you know. But I'm a EPMD. I was like, yo, EPMD, we about to step into the game right now. We about to do it. Yo. So we show up, we drive out to Comac, Long Island, right, ready to do Mike Checker. And it's at someone's house, Charlie Murata. Charlie opens the door and we meet Charlie. Charlie's at the time, maybe 30, it might have been in his 30s. White guy, long hair, kind of looked like a rocker, but knows hip hop. He's the engineer. And I remember when I opened the door, he had a couple of scratches on his face. I don't know. I don't want to say what happened, but he must have got into some kind of altercation.
I'm telling you, Charlie was in the middle of a beef with his girlfriend at the time. Are you kidding me? I was there too. I was in shock. I was like, yo, who is this dude? Nah, man, Charlie. First time we met Charlie, Charlie was in the middle of some kind of domestic dispute. Shit was crazy. Then he was like, hey, come on in. Let's go upstairs. Like nothing was going on. Go. First time we saw the studio.
So we go into the studio. And it was not the picture that was on business. It was not that. We was like, yo, hold on, EPMD worked up in here? We was just sitting there like, wait, what? It was an attic. It was in the attic. Right. They had JBL speakers. The JBL speakers was tied up with a rope to the ceiling. Charlie had foam, styrofoam on the ceiling. He had an old board that he made. And we had an 8-track reel to reel, and we were like, there's no way EPMD worked in here.
This is the studio.
Yep. And there it is. Solidscheme in the studio.
That's Chris by the board. That's you over there by the keyboards. And that is in Charlie's attic. Yo, the best studio we've ever worked out of. Ever. We couldn't believe it. So we was like this. Our face was tight because it's not the picture from Strictly Business. So mad. So, and it was hot. I remember it was summer. It was like 99 degrees of humidity, and Charlie had no air conditioning. And he was like, yeah, guys, I know it's hot, but I think I'm working on an AC, but let me hear what you got. And so we brought all this stuff in, the EPS 16 Plus, and we loaded it up. And I remember, I never forgot this. You and Scoob left and was like, all right, we good. Y'all work on this. Like literally, and we were sitting there like, we about to be up in here for hours. It's like 90 degrees. But it turned out, and no disrespect to Charlie and that studio, I'm just making jokes because Charlie's my man, it's all love. Yeah.
That studio Redman worked out of there.
Yeah.
Mac, ABC Force,
yeah.
EPMD,
yeah.
dasefx.
Yeah.
I could keep going. It had a sound. It was
Yeah.
the most rugged sound that you could ever imagine with stuff that Charlie pieced together, different boards that he had over the year, and he built himself a custom homemade studio. It didn't look fly or whatever, but you didn't want to leave. When you was messing with Charlie Murata, we were going back to Firehouse, and no disrespect to Yoram Vazan, I love Yoram, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. It was two different sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Those speakers alone, D. Tell them about those speakers. What was coming out those speakers, man?
Yo, Charlie had 2 JBL speakers. It was 4 woofers, and it was like a Jamaican sound system. It was like right in your face. It was so loud, and you could turn it up on 10. It don't matter how much bass you had. You could have Hunky on top of Payback, on top of Blind Alley, and you know how fat that is, and turn all the way up. Charlie's like, go ahead, turn it up. We're like, we couldn't do that. Firehouse, we used to turn it up. It would clip, and Yoram and Bob was like, and Rob was like, guys, the speakers are clipping. We really don't want to bust the speakers. You guys got to chill with the turning it up. It's going to clip. There was no such thing as clipping. Charlie engineered his studio that when you put it on 10, he had already compensated for the no clip so it could rock. So we was in this. It was dope. I could keep going on Charlie's studio, the best studio.
Yeah, that was the best. So we're doing Mike Checker in there, and which made Mike Checker have a whole different sound, by the way. Right? D, by the time we start doing Mike Checker, we kind of have our sound, because from when we started, we kind of, Solidscheme developed their sound in what we used to call chicken, remember?
Yeah, the chicken.
Right. So we're doing, there it is. They don't know that beat right there. That sample is Skull Snaps. Yeah,
okay.
It's
a new day.
So Mike Checker, we didn't have a hook for it. Talk to me.
Mike Checker never. First of all, Mike Checker's song. There's another one that started off as a mess. It didn't have a hook. We was in Charlie's studio. It was sounding good in the pre-production. We had an EPS 16 Plus. Me and Chris was in the crib. Me and Chris did the beat in the crib, and we dapped each other up, and we was like, yo, let's just go to Charlie's and let's knock it out. It's gonna be easy. Yo, we got to Charlie's studio, and we was like, this song is bullshit. We was like, it's bullshit. We don't know what happened. It had a bunch of other stuff in it. It had arrangement. It had changes. It had a lot of shit in it, and we were like, it sounds whack. It was sounding whack. So we decided to redo Mike Checker, and we kind of got it down to something. Anyway, we got down to something that was like decent. And I remember that but it was still busy, right? So we had your vocals on it, y'all, because y'all would spit. How we worked is we had the James Brown loop with the chicken beat, because that's the foundation of Mike Checker. It's Think, a different version of Think. It's real quick, and it's the guitar part looped up with chicken as the bassist. Y'all rapped on that, and we took it from there, right? So cut to the chase, it had a crash cymbal in it. and the crash cymbal, which y'all hear today, was coming every I want to say it's every bar or every 2 bars. I can't think about it right now. It was reoccurring way too often for us. That's how the loop was. It had a crash cymbal, right? Me and Chris hated the crash cymbal, so we EQ'd out the crash cymbal. We made it all polished, took out the crash cymbal, made it all fly. It was changing the arrangement, and we went back and we played it for Parrish. And P had heard the original version with the crash cymbal. Then P was like, "Do me a favor, go back in the studio, take out all that bullshit, and put the crash cymbal back in there." He was like, "Y'all lost the magic of the song." We was hurt. We was hurt. We was like, "Really?" We thought it was dope. He was like, "Nah, go put the crash cymbal back in there." So we put the crash cymbal back in and lessened everything. And P was 100% right. The crash cymbal is what made the song butter to this day. So so that it's funny how these songs come about. You're just going down the road. You blind. You don't know where you're going. You in the dark, and then all of a sudden you get some type of advice, or you go left, someone pull you back over here, and you center, and bam, it's magic. So that's my Mike Checker story. That's the original Mike.
And then I'm gonna add on to it. What was the original hook for Mike Checker? Because we had a problem with the hook, and then Chris played the song. Go.
Yes. So I don't remember what the actual hook was, or maybe it didn't. I think Dre. I think it didn't ever have a hook. It was like one song where y'all heard the beat, y'all rhymed, but there was never a hook. So we were stuck for a hook. And then Scoob said, microphone checker, 1, 2, checker, yes sir. And I remember Chris, we was in the song, whatever, we knew. Chris had on headphones, and he when he used to want to do stuff, he didn't want me to hear it. And then like he would be like in his own words, I don't want you to hear what I'm doing. So let me put these headphones on. I see him he was on Charlie's sampler. Charlie had an EMU sampler, and he was on Charlie's sampler with headphones. I was like, and I'm looking for samples, and I'm like, what is he doing? And he goes, and Chris, Chris was a real cool dude. If you remember, Chris used to be like, he used to smoke a cigarette. He'd be like, all right. He used to be like, yo, turn it up. Just, Charlie, turn it up. And it was like, microphone check, microphone checker, microphone check, microphone checker, I was like, wait, that's Scoob's voice. Chris was like, that's the hook. I was like, nigga, that's the hook. That was it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, that's the hook. And that's how that hook. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he sampled Scoob and then did microphone check. And it was like, wait, it seemed corny to be like so repetitive like that. Because usually they want effects, some live effects, snap a neck for some live effects. It was like, like a whole thing, right? Microphone check is just microphone check, microphone check, microphone. It's repetitive, but right.
And then we would change it, snap a neck for some, But that one, go ahead,
So it was it was magic, and it went with chicken. It was rocking, and we knew it. We was like, we can't wait for these dudes to hear it because y'all was tough critics. Yes. And I want to say this about you and Scoob. This is what I want to say. Real quick, how it used to work was we would make the beats, and we would be excited to hear y'all rhyme on it. Like we would be like kids in a candy store. We would go, yo, I wonder we were fans. We were like, I wonder what they're gonna say on this beat. We didn't really care about the beat. We're like, yeah, the beat's good, but I want to know what these niggas are gonna say. And then we would in the studio and we would be like, Rickety, wow, gibbity gadzooks here where I go for flame, Geronimo, a biggity bird. And we were sitting there and we punching in the twins. And a quick note, Charlie could never punch in the speed. People don't know what punching in is because they got like, digital shit now, whatever. Punching in with the reel to reel, you had to go on top of it with the vocals and then catch you, rickety row, gibbity gat, and then catch you for the next pieces, right? I had to do it because I knew the rhythm. I knew he was gonna go rickety row, gibbity gadzooks, and then that's the punch. Gadzooks is the punch. Charlie didn't know the rhythm, so anyway, had to punch y'all in, but we was fans. We were listening to it. We was big old fans. We was like, it's incredible. They ripped it, and then y'all would leave. and then y'all would do all that magic, and then be like, yo, we out. And y'all would leave the track, and we was like, we would be like, we're not going to sleep. We're like, we're not going to sleep. Not with Ricky D. Round, here I go. Not sleeping. We're not sleeping. We're not sleeping, because then y'all got to come back and hear it. And then it's the toughest critics in the world. They coming in, they screw face. Drayz Jamaican, he's screw face. These dudes is not trying to hear no bullshit. You got to play these niggas a hot song. And we don't care, because we down for the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that worked. It was just 4 arrogant people. Me, Chris, you, and Scoob. So I just want to say that's how that worked.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I love those days. And I want to, before I get into the remixes of those songs, Day One Effects and Mic Check, I want to end it now with, because we did Dum Dums and we were doing all these other songs. But then when by the time we got to Straight from the Sewer, that I remember we were at Parrish's crib for some reason, and I was messing around on the mic, and I was like, straight from the sewer. And then someone along the way, go.
Oh, you're right. Hold on. Straight from the sewer. I said, wait, yeah, how that hook came about. Now you got me. Straight from the sewer.
Forget the hook. Just take me through the whole song of how did we, because that song, by that beat, you guys had that it was dirty funky by then.
Okay, so the original, so Straight from the Sewer was a banging ass beat. We knew it was the last song that we did on the album, so we had so much practice and we had our chop, right? So Straight from the Sewer is sort of like the cousin to Brooklyn Latina in that funk sound from the sample and the loop. So Straight from the Sewer is the cousin of Brooklyn Latina, and I remember Chris had the basic parts of that song, and he needed another piece. And so I remember I found Funkin' for Fun Parliament, and that was the yeah. Chris, I found that. Chris was like, the song is ready to go. It had the boom, 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 yeah. It was rough, and so that was it. It was a basic beat. We gave y'all the basic beat, and I don't know. Maybe you know better than me. Maybe you said at the end, straight from the sewer. I stink like manure. Oh, did we always have that hook?
No, I started with coming straight from the sewer like that, because like I said, we were at P's crib. I don't know if you were there or whatever. My memory sucks, but I just remember going straight from the sewer. I was warming up, just waiting for something to happen with the beat. And then either somebody in there, I want to just say it was P, or somebody was like, yo, that's dope. Could have been Scoob. Yo, that's a dope concept for a song. So then we must have stopped the session and then wrote an actual rhyme. Coming straight from the sewer, and then straight from the sewer, straight from the,
Yeah, so we sampled it. And we sampled your voice.
Yeah.
Right, because it's straight from the, yeah. And then I think we knew we were going to make a sewer song, because that was, already had the concept that Das was going to be from the sewer. Y'all, we knew the whole thing was going to be 40 Below Tim's with the Scully, and it was going to be dark, and there wasn't going to be no dancing. And so we knew we had to make a sewer song. So I think that that concept was what built Straight from the Sewer. And I think you guys thought of that hook, and the track was already there. And then, of course, the Straight from the Sewer, again, that you guys are hearing now, is not the original Straight from the Sewer. Solid Scheme, we reworked it. Not like the original beat wasn't already rugged. Chris let me go to bed. Chris was like, listen, I know this beat is rugged, but I'm going to have to redo the whole thing. So we did. We redid the whole thing Straight from the Sewer, and it goes, boom, 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 good God, right? Boom, 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 good God. It's a different beat from the original boom, 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 boom. It's switched up, but it's still rugged, right? So it's almost like it was a remix. The version y'all hear is a remix, and it worked, and it was rugged, right? And then, do you want me to take it to the cam, or you want to?
No, I want to take it to yes and no, because okay, so we finished the album in a nutshell. There's a lot of stuff going on. We finished the album, but then the remixes, because at that time remixes were big. So then you guys do Day One Effects remix and the infamous boom, 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 Mic Checker remix. Talk to me about either one.
Okay, let's start with Mic Checker remix. So that's a good story. So Mic Checker remix after I told you about the mess of Mike Checker and how it came to be, and P hurt our feelings and all of that, we was trying to remix Mike Checker. So the album had been, I think Day One Effects came out, y'all went on tour, it was magic, Das was crazy, people knew it in the streets, it was one of the hottest, it was the hottest thing in Brooklyn. I was coming out my crib hearing Day One Effects, dudes was like, yo, it's crazy, right? It was like, still living at home, and you know, it was like, y'all was celebrities, right? And then, but I was still running to the studio every day doing these remixes, because that was the era of, we have to have the remix. If the single comes out, it's got to be a remix. So we were doing the remix. So Mike Checker remix, we worked on it for days. Couldn't make it better than original Mike Checker. Couldn't find the groove. And real quick, remixes back then were not the remixes of later on, where, you know, people spit the rhymes over a new beat, then they have a feature and all of that. No, remix back then was, here go the reel, take out the old beat, this is the cadence, this is the speed, put a beat under it, fit your beat to the dude and do it with MIDI. There's no digital, there's no grabbing nothing. You got to do it with MIDI and time code and locking it up. It was very hard. You know, people like Pete Rock that did all those remix, they know what I'm talking about, okay? So anyway, we got to fit dasefx, I give you no room, with Riggedy Row, Gibbity Gadzooks, here I go, to a new beat. How you gonna find a beat for that anyway? So it took forever. We couldn't find nothing that was going with it. So we said, okay, we gotta go back to the well. Well, they rhymed on the chicken beat stays in. Okay? They got the think in there, the think guitar stays in. Okay? So now we filter in everything. We hide in it, right? So if you listen to the remix of Mike Checker, there's a lot of old Mike Checker in there. It's all filtered and it's dark, and there's things on top of it. There's drums on top of it. And so then it needed one more magic to trick it, right? Because it's kind of like old Mike Checker is in it, and we're trying to make a remix, but you can't give them Mike Checker. You got to give them something new. And I'm sitting here like, this is a dud. It's not going to happen. This whole remix is a dud. And Chris played boom, 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 chicka pop, chicka boom, boom, and then riggedy row, and then I'm like, yeah, all right. No, I'm not joking. I'm like, it's all right. And Chris is like, yeah, I know, it's all right. Niggas is dejected. We like, it's cool, but it goes, right? It goes. Wow. And it's too many days now. It's too many days, too much drama. Charlie's like, can y'all leave the studio? It's been 5 days. I haven't been sleeping. You guys are here. You guys are crazy. You guys keep me up all night. When do you end these songs? I have to sleep. Charlie comes in. He mixed it. I don't even think Charlie was that impressed. It was like, whatever, right? A dud. We like, this is a dud. Y'all were on tour. Y'all had Sky Pages and all of this foolishness. Parrish was like, I feel like EPMD was on a vacation. So we got to mail out the beats. That's when you mail in beats to people. So we mailed y'all the track, and we mailed EPMD the track, going like, they not using that. So we messed up that remix. Yo, I got a phone call from Eric and Parrish. They were like, yo, this remix is crazy. It's ill. This is an ill ass remix. They were like, they loved it. And we were like, oh, whatever. We was like, fine, we good with it. And then I think on your behalf, I think you guys liked it too. Maybe you can tell me. I don't know what you ever thought of Mike Checker remix. I'm not sure. What was it?
Loved it.
Oh, you loved it?
My thing about, I loved it because I was, after Day One Effects Burner, I was always into intros. Once I heard horns like that, I was like, oh, okay. Where'd you guys get the horn from?
That's from the Fatback.
Boom, boom, boom.
I found those horns. If you look in that picture, you see me standing there at turntable. That was the magical turntable where all them samples was found. Yo, we're finding samples on the fly, going through records in the studio. We used to grab a stack. We used to go in the crib and only bring like 40, 50 records and be like, it's got to happen with 50 records. And Fatback Band, I can't remember the name of the actual sample, but I know it's the Fatback Band. And it goes, and I was like, that's going to be the intro to it. And then the boom, 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 chicka, chicka, boom, boom. And then, trust me, that bass line, I'm not going to give it up, but a lot of people rework that bass lines in their songs. like that bass line has definitely been reworked in a lot of other hip hop songs, and people play the remix to me more than the OG.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of playing more the remix, They Want FX remix.
They Want FX
Talk to
remix.
me.
No issues with that one. That one seemed kind of straightforward. It's a Quincy Jones sample. I mean, it was all clear, but yeah, it's a Quincy Jones thing. It's sped up like really fast. It's you know, that one was for some reason, I don't know why, I had no problem remixing They Want FX. It was very easy. That one no issues. Yeah.
Yo, D, during the because a lot of people heard you were coming on, and some producers, you know, from the West Coast and some from the East Coast, even from Europe, was like, yo, really looked up to these guys and their sound and how they put their shit together. Who are you and Chris looking up to during the Dead Serious times? Because I know we were, for one, I'll spark your brain, I know we were big NWA fans. We must have played that album. That must have been our inspiration, I think. And guys like Cypress Hill, you know, who are you guys rocking with production-wise?
Our inspiration was the Bomb Squad, Hank Shockley, Eric Sadler. We love Dre. Most definitely Ice Cube. Ice Cube was, there is no, that Dead Serious album doesn't happen without Ice Cube. Influence Ice Cube. All the production that was done by the Bomb Squad when they started messing with Ice Cube. So a lot of what we did was, why am I not remember, Kill It Will EP. And what's Ice Cube's first album? I want to say it's Kill It Will.
Certificate, America's Most Wanted.
There we go, America's Most Wanted. Right? We would make tracks and then play. We would play America's Most Wanted, and if it wasn't even close, we're doing it over. And I'm gonna give you another, and this is another funny one too. Pete Rock was a major influence. Pete Rock had a song, "Get Wrecked with the Creator," right? It's an early Pete Rock song, and he released it as a single, and it was like boom, 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 boom. I remember hearing that at a club. I could not believe how ridiculous. Dip, da, dip. You might make a trip. It was so ridiculous. So that beat that Pete Rock did with them rhymes. Yeah. I remember going, me and Chris used to make beats, and then we put on boom, 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 boom. Goodbye to that beat. Like playing other people. Yo, we used to be like, we play Get Record the Creator, boom, 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 boom. Can't fuck with it. Turn it off. So until it was up to par with Pete Rock's Get Wrecked with the Creator, America's Most Wanted, Dr. Dre, NWA, who else? Major productions. We wasn't letting it go. So that's how that album came to be. We had high standard.
Talk to me about, because a lot of people want to know about this, Hard Like a Criminal.
Oh yeah, so Hard Like a Criminal was the 11th song on Dead Serious.
Like the stepchild that never made the family reunion.
The original song was dark. It was a dark song, right? It was real hood. It was a story song. We wanted to put a story song because a lot of the album is freestyle. The majority of the album is freestyle. So we're like, let's do a story because Das could tell a story too. So we did Hard Like a Criminal, and it's a story of, you was going to a party and you ran into school. He's a crazy criminal dude from East New York, and y'all got into an altercation and somebody gets shot, right? So Beat was.
I remember we wrote that in his. I remember we wrote that in his bedroom. But go ahead. In Brooklyn, right there on Midwood.
Beat was ridiculous, and hard as hell. We sample LL Hard Like a Criminal, DOC. So we mixed Hard from LL. Mama Said Knock You Out with Like a Criminal from DOC. I don't know how we thought of it, but it was Hard Like a Criminal, and cut it up. It was wild. Yeah. And then it had a dope sample. It was ready to go. It had sound effects. Bodies was dropping. It was wild. And then East West heard it, and they was like, guys, this is not gonna be, like what the album, the vibe of our album, it didn't fit. Like, what I'm saying? Dudes is like kind of bouncy, it's got all the like nursery rhyme puns and the Looney Tunes joints, but it was still hood, it was gangster.
Yeah.
But the Hard Like a Criminal was like where this came from. We wanted that song on the album.
Yeah.
And also it had a problem with the sample, and then it had a problem with the content, right? So I think the content and the sample.
The what?
It was a problem.
The content, yeah, for sure.
The content of the song and then the sample. We couldn't clear White House Orgy from the Barcades. The Barcades, they have to hear the before you clear the sample, they have to hear the song. The Barcades heard the song and they were like, yo, he got shot on the song. They're like, no. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, so we couldn't use the sample. So anyway, Hard Like a Criminal got on the back burner. It came out later. It had to get reflipped. It had to get remixed. And it was never the original, to me, Magic. Dude still loved it, like the reflip of it, but that's not the original Hard Like. So that's that song.
You have that anywhere? You have the original anywhere in your stash?
You want to hear how I have the original?
Yeah.
Yo, Drayz is crazy.
Yeah.
It was on YouTube and it was on SoundCloud. I don't even have it. I had to find it on SoundCloud. Oh. Somebody had the original Hard Like a Criminal on SoundCloud.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta go find it.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you. I couldn't believe it. It's a bad copy, but they have it.
So D, okay, dead serious, Hard Like a Criminal. We had an album in. You guys, the album, everybody's hearing it now. Q comes into the picture because, like a lot of people, he's a fan of your production, right?
Yep.
Tell me and tell the world the meeting of Cube / going into Cam.
Ice Cube ended up being a fan of dasefx, right? So he decided that he wanted Solid Scheme to do a beat for a new artist named Cam that he had signed, and he wanted a beat from Solid Scheme because he's a dasefx fan. He wants the producers to make a beat for Cam, right? Cam is a West Coast rapper from Watts. Cam is a Watts Crip, right? So he comes to New York. Parrish hooks the whole thing up because I'm managed by EPMD. Parrish hooks the whole thing up. Cube was like, yo, he wants to meet with y'all, this, that, and the other. So Cube is coming to New York. He's so hyped on this meeting that I'm watching Video Music Box with Ralph McDaniels. And Ralph McDaniels is doing parties, and Ice Cube is at the party. And I'm like, oh shit, Ice Cube at the party. I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow or whatever, right? And they say, hey, Ice Cube, what you in town here doing? What are you here for? He's like, yeah, I'm here to meet with the producers of dasefx. I have a meeting with, he's blowing it up on Video Music Box. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, wait, what? He's open. Okay. So, and I'm like, I'm a big fan. So we have a CD and we gonna meet with him. We want him to sign our CD. We fans, right? The whole album is based off of Cube, right? So they book a session, a meeting session at what's the studio in Queens? Power Play Studio in Queens, right? Where mad people work there, right? To go meet with him, play the tracks we can. So Cube, we supposed to go out there, let's say we supposed to meet up with Cube at noon. Yo, I'm not lying. We young and the album's done. We're successful. I'm still living at home. I'm in Brooklyn or whatever. We ain't get all our money yet. I haven't moved out the crib yet, you know, whatever. So it's that early stages. You're waiting for your money. You still living at home. So I go to Chris's crib. Chris's house had the studio. And literally that morning, I'm making a beat tape to play for Cube. That morning at 10 o'clock, I decide I'm gonna pick out some beats for Cube. Are you crazy? Whoa. But we had so many beats and we were so in the mix that it was like, okay, Cube wants a beat. We exhausted. We did mad remix of the album. Oh, Cube wants a beat. I will find something for Cube. So we making a beat tape at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then at this time, I didn't have a car, right? And so we used to take, and this is a good story. We didn't have a car. Me and Chris didn't have a car. We used to work in Long Island. P was our manager. We used to take town cars to the studio. It was a company called La Rose. And P would be like, you ain't got no car? Yo, I'm gonna call La Rose. You good? We used to be sitting in the back like Gordon Gecko in a town car, going to Firehouse Studios and coming back in town cars, okay?
Yes.
But then one day we got the bill, so we deaded the town car thing. We were like, yeah. We were like, no more town cars. So this meeting with Q, P goes, yo, y'all need the town car? And I'm like, nah, we don't need the town car. We good, P. So
all right.
We like, my man gonna take us. He gonna get Jan Dowdy gonna take us.
Of course. Jan.
Y'all man, he gonna take us. He lived next door. He got his Pop's car, he gonna take us. He come that morning, he go, listen, yo, I can't take y'all. Pops need the car. Okay, how we gonna meet with Q? We gonna take a cab. It's Brooklyn In the 90s on a Saturday, people don't know Brooklyn in the 90s on a Saturday, you cannot get a cab. Everybody's out in the car. You can't call no cab. You can't flag no cab down. We got to go to Queens. We can't get no cab. Now we 1 hour late looking for a cab to meet with Cube. We're like calling the studio, Cube, yo, we on our way, hang tight. 2 hours later, Cube, we coming. Yo, listen, finally, Jan gets his pop's car. We fly to the studio 3 hours late to meet with Ice Cube, our idol. Listen, this is being young. I'm probably 20, 21 years. No, I might be 22. I'm 22 and I'm young, right? So anyway, we get to the studio and I see Ice Cube sitting in the studio. He waited 3 hours now. He's with Cam. Cube had a hat on and Cube was like this. And we were like, yo, my bad.
Oh my God.
He's like this. He daps us. He goes, yo, let me hear these beats.
Damn it. They better be hot.
Listen, we go to the studio. I made the beat tape that morning. Listen, I play the first beat. Cube and Cam are like this. I'm like, oh my God. I play the second beat. They're not moving. They're not moving, Drayz. I play the third beat. They're still not moving. I'm like, oh my God, 3 hours late. I'm done. Listen, we had an ace in the hole beat. We knew it. We're like, okay, so we have the ace in the hole. We're holding the beat because we're not going to play it until complete desperation. And it's the straight from the sewer beat that y'all niggas rhymed to that got remixed into another song that became straight from the sewer. So I'm still holding a beat that hasn't been used. It's half used, but ain't really been used. It's a whole different beat, but I know it's butter and I know it sounds like a West Coast beat and they from the West Coast. We West Coast fans. And then we played the beat. And the shit come on. Yeah. They lost their minds. They was like, that's the one. That's it. We good. We're good.
Whoa.
We're good. They dapping us up. They like, listen, so I'm going to talk to Parrish. We're going to fly y'all out to LA. So we're going to get in touch with Schumer. This is going to happen. And we're like, oh my God. They knew it. They were like, this is the track. We're like, Cube, can you sign my CD? Cube signs the CD. He's like, yo, we redeemed ourselves with one beat. So cut to, we go to LA. I think it actually, was that my first time? I'm living in Los Angeles now, but was that my first time in LA? I believe, yes, it was. So. It was my first time in LA. Literally land, and they have someone pick us up, drive us to the beach. We looked at the beach, and they took us to the studio. Yo, we went to the studio and met Cube. Cube pulls up in a Z, and he's playing DOS. He's a big old fan. He's happy. He can't believe it. Mad West Coast dudes come in with crazy names. Yo, I'm Big Ice. I'm Snow. I'm Big Mike. Yo, gangsters. And I'm in there like, yo, I'm Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got a gangster name like that. Anyway, I'm
Derek. I'm Chris.
Yeah, exactly. So cut to anyway. We do the Cam Peace Treaty song. We don't even know what Cam is about to do with the song. He's rhyming, and it's a song called Peace Treaty. And the song is about the 1992 Watts gang truce, right? So the Crips and the Bloods had a truce in 1992. They was gonna stop shooting and killing each other. Cam is a Watts Crip, so he decides to use that beat to make this song about a gang truce. I'm from Brooklyn. I have no idea about what is going on in this song. There's no internet like I know what them dudes is doing. I only know stuff from like, if they're telling me or I'm reading it in a magazine or we hear it on the news. There's no like, we're not connected with Instagram like that, right? So I guess whatever, that's what he want to do with the track. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, Cam is nice. First of all, Cam was nice. So I was like, okay, dope. So we bring the track back to LA, to New York to finish the beat. And of course we remixed it. Took out the West Coast funk and made a whole new song. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. It was dope. Got rid of everything. A whole new song with Cam's lyrics on it. Played it for them. They was like, listen, stop playing. Yeah, whatever. We're not using that. We using the
Wow.
OG, booga bump, booga, and whatever. They was
Yeah.
right. We was how they paid us to beat, right? But now I'm gonna segue into this. Turns out Cam puts out this song. There's about, if you watch the video, get a chance, watch Cam Peace Treaty. There's cars bouncing. There is probably 100 gangbangers in the video. There's mad dudes in that video. It's a real song. It's a Watts thing. It's yo, I didn't even know nothing about it, how your music, and they went crazy with that beat. Till this day, that song Peace Treaty is a reminder of the 1992 Watts gang truce, and take it to something current. After Nipsey Hussle died, the gangs came out on Crenshaw, and Big U organized everybody to come out for like a peace treaty. And I saw it on Instagram. They were playing Cam Peace Treaty while walking in remembrance of Nipsey. I mean, they played Nipsey music, but that song Peace Treaty on the West Coast for the gangs, if you are an older gang member, or maybe if you're new, you know, it is that song about a truce. That's the story.
So D, tell us, you are not making beats, and you drop out of school and go to Chris's crib. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I was working as a furniture mover. I got kicked out of Morgan State, and I was moving furniture for $40 a day at Abraham and Strauss. If anybody know about A&S on Hoyt Street, yeah, I was moving furniture at A&S for $40 a day. And then y'all was like, we got discovered by EPMD, and we had a sampler. So I was like, I gotta make it happen. But the story is that we didn't even know how to use the sampler while producing Dead Serious, right? So I probably had the sampler for 3 months, and then y'all was like, yo, we need beats. So we were learning how to use a sampler, and we were learning how to loop stuff, how to make it on time, and how to actually, that brings me to another thing. So yeah, sometimes we would be looping things in the crib and it was off. And that's why we would go to Firehouse and we'd be like, re-loop it, because they knew how to loop it and make it on, right? So that was some of what was going on with Dead Serious. We're learning how to use a sampler, and we're learning how to be producers and have no time, because it's crunch time, because I got EPMD and Das breathing down my neck for beats.
And tell them, what was the setup like at Chris's? Because Chris's place was the hub. So how was the setup? We'd go to Chris's crib. Where was the studio at his crib?
Well,
in the brownstone.
Let me tell you, Chris is basically, if you ever met the Huxtables, their family is the Huxtables. I ain't never met I'm from the other side of Crown Heights off of Nostrand Avenue.
Right.
You know, like block is Bed-Stuy, and that's where Jay-Z grew up. Jay-Z's off Nostrand Avenue, Bed-Stuy. Chris lived on the side of Crown Heights where it's primarily Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jewish, and they live in a big, massive brownstone. And I never went in those brownstones until I met Chris Charity. They were the Huxtables. His parents were professionals. His mother had a big old job at the Board of Ed. His dad was a major social worker. They were the Huxtables, right? And Chris had a bedroom downstairs on the lower. It's a brownstone, so they had a den, they had a piano room, they had a living room, they had 3 bedrooms. Chris had a room in the back. It was a massive house, had a basement. Anyway, you go into Chris's room, and Chris's room was a mess, right? He a 20-year-old dude or whatever, 21. And then he had a back room that it was like where he just threw all his junk. We converted that into a studio.
Yes.
So we got all of Chris's shit.
Yes.
We put a sampler in there, and we built a small home pre-production studio. It was the size of a closet.
Yes.
And out of a closet, and we made that entire album in a closet. And now I'm gonna bring you to a quick story. When the album was done, some dude was writing a book on like, hip hop, and he wanted to profile dasefx. His name is Skiz Fernando. I don't know how I remember that. Some dude named Skiz Fernando wrote a book about hip hop in the 90s. He wanted to interview us. So we said, cool, come to the crib. He comes to the house. He's ready to write this book on hip hop. Dead Serious is platinum. He comes to where we did the whole album, the pre-production. We open up the room that we don't think is a closet. We think it's a studio. We open the room, and he goes, I'm sorry, you made Dead Serious in a closet? I mean, I was kind of offended. I was offended, but I got it. I was like, he was like, wait, the whole album was started in this closet. That's the first time I ever thought of it as a closet. Because to me, it was a studio.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, with the less is more, like we didn't have much, but we made a lot out of what we had. So that's
all I remember is just to add on before we tap out. I just remember walking into Chris's crib all the time, and his parents would just always look over at us like, and we'd be like, "How you doing, Mr. Charity? How you doing?" And just head right to the back. They were like, "What are these guys doing back there?" It just felt, because like you, they were the Huxtables, and we always felt like, oh, let's not get in their way. Let's just, you know what I mean? Bunch of dropouts, because Chris wasn't doing nothing with his life.
Chris went to Brooklyn Tech, went to college, got kicked out of college, and he was not doing anything at the time either. So we all had to make it happen. It was like, this don't pop. And let me let you know, that's what got me out of my house. Dead serious got me out of my house. That was it. I never looked back. I was like, bye. I never, we never looked back. That was it.
Yeah. I want to, because we could be here for days, you know how me and you do when we're on the phone, but I want to start wrapping it up, because we definitely going to have a part 2, because what I do want to talk to you about is the second album. Okay. Because you were living the high life, we're living the high life, and out of nowhere we get a call from Sylvia. I need a song. She might have called us on a Wednesday, said she needed songs by Friday. Am I lying?
That's how it went. Yeah, so second album, we
we did
1 million remixes. Me and Chris did 1 million remixes. Y'all was on tour. We was all busy, and it was like, it just looped all of a sudden. We were like, welcome to the music business. Sylvia looked at us like, so where are the songs for the next album?
Chill. And that's when, because I remember I was in my pool in the backyard, got a call, I'm on the floaty. She wants songs. I remember, party over, everybody got to go. We got to get up with y'all exhausted, y'all doing mad remixes, y'all did Immature, y'all was supposed to work with SWV, right? Y'all had, because y'all was doing a lot of stuff. So y'all was, the second album, which we're going to talk about on the next one, was crazy, because like I said, everybody was in a different part of the world, and then boom, y'all had to reconnect. So that's going to be interesting on a part 2. But D, before you go, what is your favorite DOS record that you did for us?
Let me think.
And it doesn't have to be Dead Serious, or you can say off of the Dead Serious record. Let's keep.
It is on Dead Serious. I think I have 2, so I go like this. At the time when we made the album, my favorite song, and it was also Chris Charity's favorite song, but my favorite song on Dead Serious was If Only. To me, that was, in terms of the lyrics, production, arrangement, it was unique, it was wild, it was jazz, it was like R&B, it had progression. It was just like something that, like, for me, I was impressed by that song. Right. So that was my favorite. But now, if I look back now, like when I'm playing it now, you know, and I'm in a different headspace, my favorite song on that album is Mike Checker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The original?
The original Mike Checker. Yeah, the original Mike Checker is wild. It's just, they don't give you a break. It's just nonstop. Like I put it on now, I go, how the fuck did I do that? Like I don't even know how we did it. Like it's nonstop. You don't get a break. It just hits you for like 4 minutes, and it never stops, and it's hard, and it's moving, and it's good. So I love Mike Checker, and I will not take nothing away. There's too many. And then Day One Effects too, for me, it's still like, you know, it still has a certain, there's a magic when I hear it. Like every time I hear it, like I go, oh my God, it takes me back, you know. So I'm somewhere between those 3. But if I'm gonna pick one, I'm gonna pick one, because you know who I am now. I'm gonna go with Mike Checker.
Wow. My favorite is Just Some Men. I don't know why. I just love Just Some Men. It was just so simple, and I just remember feeling good when I heard it. And If Only, those 2 for me. I remember we sat in front of Scoob's crib and played the shit out of If Only, and I literally looked at Scoob and was like, "Yo, I don't think we'll ever make a whack record." I swear to God, that's what I turned in. I was so impressed with If Only. Yeah, If Only was my I couldn't believe we made that record after we made that record. And Just a Man, it was just so, I couldn't believe we sounded so good over a beat, you know? You know what I'm saying? There was no complaints when we did Just a Man. Just a Man was like, oh shoot, this is it right here. So yeah, those are my two. But is there anything else you want to talk about? Like how you guys were used to do sampling, or, you know, what was the process like?
The one thing I want to say about making that album was that we did the whole album with a keyboard called the Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus. And at that time, you didn't have a lot of sampling time with a sampler, right? So the sampler originally came with 11 seconds of sample time, and then you could up the RAM to double it to 22 seconds of sample time, right? So that entire Dead Serious album is pre-produced in the crib at a home studio with 22 seconds. So I'm gonna give you an example. So I'm looping up Skull Snaps and I'm looping up James Brown. Well, you know, that's gonna take up time, right? So in order to get more out of the time, we had to put the records on 45 and speed it up on a turntable and take them in at a faster rate. So the record's moving, the sample's moving fast, right? So it took up 1 second, right? Or 2 seconds. Then you pitch it down to save sample time so you can maximize the 22 seconds, because that's all you got to sample for pre-production. So just to let you know that, you know, I feel that less is more. Like, you know, when it comes to making music, I've learned over the years that, you know, when you don't have a lot, you're forced to become very creative. And I think that's why a lot of old school hip hop songs, you know, are classic in that way.
Where did you get the idea to speed it up? Was that a known thing to do?
No, I'll tell you why it wasn't a known thing to do, because producers wasn't trading no notes. There's no blogs, there's no nothing. I think you figure it out. You start going, wait, so if I'm playing Skull Snaps this long and it's taking up that much time, logically you figure if I put it on 45 and pitch shift it up, it's gonna take less time. You just logically, because you run out of space and you're like, how can I get more space? So you figure it out. Then you meet other producers like, yep, I did that too, right? So everybody, you know, mad people worked with the EPS 16 Plus and they know it only has 22 seconds. Now, I'll say this with that album is after we did pre-production, we did go to Charlie's studio, we did go to Firehouse, and we jumped on an SP1200. We jumped on an EMU sampler at Charlie's, and we added more time later on. But the foundation is 22 seconds, which is crazy. What, you know, what the technology that we have now is endless.
Incredible. Because these new kids, they're doing a whole nother. What do you think about the new producers, D? And I know, just real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I think new producers, they're amazing. I think there's amazing production with new producers. It's different from what we grew up with. You know, I want to say like trap producers. I think that those beats are banging. Now, it's different from what we did, and I don't want to, you know, put trap and put, you know, 90s hip hop in the same category. Yes, we're going to loop all of it into the genre of hip hop, but I feel trap is different and 90s hip hop is different. It's two different vibes. And I don't want to say one is better than the other. It's just different. The trap is for their generation. They're into the hooks. They're into the bounce. It's a whole different feel. It's, yo, you go to these concerts right now. I may not be into a lot of these trap songs, but they shutting it down with these beats, right? They shutting it down with these tracks. That's for their thing. Just like what we did in the 90s, you know, our parents was probably laughing at us talking about, you don't play no instruments, how you a producer. So it, you know, and somehow hip hop got put in the genre of R&B, because we were definitely on the R&B charts, right? So every generation is gonna have, you know, something to say about the new music, but I think what we have to understand that it's gonna be different and it's not for you. You know, if you latch onto it and you're older and you like trap, that's good for you. But if you're not into it, it's not for you. It's for them. It's their time, right? That's what they're doing. And, you know, so I think it should exist. I think that they're talented, and I think that it should exist in its own realm. And let's not compare it to 90s, and let's not compare, just like we ain't going to compare 90s hip hop to Motown. I'll leave it at that.
Yo, D, I think we covered enough what we needed to cover. If there's anything you want to say before we wrap up that I might have missed.
No, I think we did good. We told all the stories. People probably don't even know these stories, and you know, I feel, you know, I'm pretty humble dude. Dead Serious is probably a classic hip hop album, and you know, these are all the behind the scenes stories of, you know, what happened with it. So yeah, I'm good.
Well, on that note, yo, my man Derek, one half of Solid Scheme. The world been waiting for it. Now you got it. Go tell your friends, share it, spread the word. D's coming back for part 2 because we got to get into Straight Up Suicide. We got to get into Hold It Down. We got to get into Generation Effects, those albums. We were all at different points in our lives when those albums came out. It's going to be a movie. Yo, Derek, one love, bro.
One love. Thank you, Dre.
You already know. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Producers Podcast, produced by my guys Raj and Vic at the Creative Content Agency. I couldn't do it without them. Big shout out to them. If you like what you heard today, please share it with everybody that likes to hear about these kind of stories behind the beats with these amazing producers. Also, if you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rate and review. Also for the crew over at Spotify, you know what I mean? Please do what you do over there. Listen, follow me at my social site, you know what I mean? At Krazy Drayz. That's KrazyDrayz. Leave me some messages, leave me some questions, leave me some ideas. You know, I'm gonna holler back at you because that's just what we do at the Producers Podcast. Hey, yo, once again, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Peace.